even before you go into that space of being attracted to someone and being emotionally attached to them, make sure already that the trust is built, because as Aaron mentioned, trust is really the most foundational thing. What's up, you guys, and welcome to Adulting with Joyce Pring, the how-tos of your 20s told by a 20-something-year-old traversing through adult life expectantly and with gusto. Don't forget to check out joyspring.com for the show notes and use the hashtag Adulting with Joyce Pring for all your comments, suggestions, and hopefully non-violent reactions. I was not informed that 12 midnight is a new 4 p.m. And so
I
you
ate
gotta
dinner
explain this to me,
so
parts.
late. I ate dinner at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I thought, okay, when the speech happens, I'm gonna have my merienda. Right, so I had a little merienda during, and then I had dinner at 3 o'clock in the morning just to try and get my body clock to where apparently the rest of the government is looking at it. But yeah, and the weirdest thing was that everything happened after we recorded our show yesterday. And it was
Mm-hmm.
when we were even talking like, okay, maybe we should record after the speech so that we have more things to talk about. Turned out it was great that we recorded it before because so much things happened yesterday, and of course the main thing was the press conference held by President Rodrigo Duterte. And
Was it really the main thing? Was it really the main thing, Aaron Nataida? I don't think that was the main takeaway from yesterday. But yes, one of the big bombs that we had yesterday was President Duterte's press conference, as it always is. I feel like there's just too much fun. Filipinos are very sarcastic. And naturally kasi, we're happy people, you know. So even if we're inis na, bad trip na talaga tayo, we hate the guts of this person, whatever your negative feelings towards another person, somehow Filipinos always have the capacity to turn it into comedy, right?
yes,
So
absolutely.
ang dami mga nagtitweet kahapon ng 84 years
Di
later.
ba? Sa
Oh.
sobrang tagal kong hinintay yung press conference. Because I was, right after we recorded, I started playing some Call of Duty with my friend, Guy. We were just like, okay, let's play a bit before the press conference goes. We stopped at 4 because I was like, bro, I need to watch. I need to see what's going on. And it turned out that sa sobrang tagal ko naghintay, ready na ako magmahal ulit.
Ganon katagal,
Gano'n
parts.
katagal. Oh, over na ako sa lahat ng mga problema ko sa buhay. Wala na, okay na ako. Ready na ako, ready na
Grabe.
ako.
Sobrang tagal na naiba yung definition ng willing to wait. Kasi talagang ito yung totoong willing to wait.
Daig niya Thai part. Daig niya Thai part.
Sobra. Nadaig niya yung Thai part doon. At yung favorite tweet ko, yung kay Rico Blanco ng Happy April Fool's Day na lang daw. Oo.
It was, but of course, we had to. I mean, I had to watch it. I hope everyone was able to at least see what was discussed because
Main takeaways, parts. I didn't get to watch it. I was asleep already by 11,
uh,
so.
yeah, main takeaway was I finished, I think, like maybe about 14, 15 episodes of or something like that of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, waiting for it, just pass it time. So you could get a lot done. My main takeaway was the reaction of people, not necessarily the press conference itself. I like how everyone is rallying around our frontliners, and we talked about it here on the show already. That first and foremost, our frontliners, even if they refuse to be called frontliners, that I've seen a lot of people say that they don't want to be called frontliners because they should be the last line of defense in
Mm.
reality of it all. But yeah, everyone is rallying behind them, saying that that they are our heroes. And I love something that John Oliver, one of my favorite late night hosts, said that at the end of this all, we need to at least have a parade for everyone, or like a memorial or a moment, like something for everyone that has put in the work and try to make sure everyone is safe. I
Yeah.
love that everyone is coming together, whether one way or another. And we talked about this in an earlier episode. It's going to put everything
Yeah.
into perspective. And if the
Yeah.
perspective is that we come together as a nation against the virus, against whatever, against misrepresentation or mishandling of certain situations, then so be it. If that's what makes the Philippines come together as one, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this, that this whole pandemic situation has really brought out the worst and the best out of human beings. So you see the best out of people sacrificing their lives, their time, their energy, their time with their family. We didn't get to touch on it, but a lot of our friends who work as a frontliner, as a nurse or a medical practitioner, they won't go home na to their
Mm.
houses
Yeah.
because they want to make sure that they're not bringing the virus or diseases to their family, because of how contagious COVID-19 is. And I was also watching this video that's from New York, and they had like you know how we had this thing going on in Twitter na parang 5 p.m. o labas kayo sa mga balconies niyo and make some noise for our frontliners, right? And it kind of happened, but I think just because we're not all confined to a small space in the city like Manhattan, hindi siya masyadong ganun ka-impactful. So I saw this video of New York City, Manhattan, at 7 in the morning, banging and making the loudest noise to commemorate and to give appreciation to their frontliners. And it was just one of the most magical things I've ever seen. It was so loud. They were banging on their pots, they were screaming, they were clapping. It was like the New York version of the Italians singing in their balconies. So it's pretty
Absolutely.
cool.
I think, like I said, true colors will show. I
Hmm.
think if you are really a kind-hearted person, if you are compassionate, if you are empathetic, it will come out. It will show, and true colors will be put in through a prism, and everyone will see. Now,
Hmm.
if you're not, and you want to take advantage of situations and make this about you than anything else, perfect example. Donald Trump, in his press conference. I'm sorry if to bring this to a different country in terms of politics, but he's talking more about the ratings that news outlets are getting because of him instead of him
Yeah, he
talking
was
about
talking
it.
about bad press.
Yeah, and he
Hmm.
was saying that because of him, the ratings of news are at all time level highs. But it's not because of him. It's because people want to be informed and they're at home and they're all watching TV and they want to know what's going on in the news. So again, true character and the true colors that people are going to show. Make sure that you see exactly what is happening out there.
Yeah, adversity brings out the best and the worst in people. It brings out the truest character of people. And that is precisely why I'm also wearing this Klimt shirt
Mm-hmm.
today, because one of my favorite artists' paintings, Van Gogh's painting, called Springtime, I think, was stolen from one of the museums in Netherlands. Also yesterday,
God, what
like
a
I think we
day!
got the news at around 10:30, or maybe like mga I remember I was watching a movie when I saw it on the news, and I was like, what just happened? So somebody broke into the museum because nga it was closed, like siguro the security was a bit more lax because of the coronavirus, and they got to steal the painting of Van Gogh.
Wild.
This is insane. And we've gone from like, we were talking about this, like there are some doctors also, and some medical practitioners who are saying that, hey, some of our health workers are sick because people are lying about their traveling history. Some people are stealing our masks because
Wow.
they can't buy anymore in the markets, and then people are also stealing paintings in museums. So we're really seeing true colors. And dahil nga everyone's on their phones, everyone's on the internet, we see it instantaneously. Whatever craziness is happening in the world, talagang mababasa mo kaagad on Twitter.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we can really take out of all of this is how much Twitter is kicking ass at all social media outlets right now. Like Twitter has
Mm-hmm.
been amazing. Whether I mean it is
Mm-hmm.
kicking Facebook in the face, it is killing Instagram because
Mm-hmm.
the instant information, and I think that a lot of people uh, and it might be because a lot of the trolls are gone. I don't know. I just love that Twitter has been the best social media outlet for me by far this entire time. I've been loving Twitter.
Hindi, ang funny kasi, di ba, ang daming ang trolls sa Twitter and madaming haters. Tapos meron akong nakitang nag-tweet na parang, like, people like you and I who don't have a lot of time to be trolls and haters. And sabi niya parang, akala nyo trolls and haters, may time din kami ngayon. Magre-reply kami sa mga hate tweets nyo. So parang, oo nga no, like, I was wondering like, how come there's so much intellectual
Diba?
discourse on the internet now? Like, it's not just trending, hate, hindi lang siya yung mga the usual things that would often trend on Twitter. But there's actually intellectual discourse. People are discussing things and nagkakaroon ng talagang substantial content on Twitter. And I was like, that's right, because everyone is at home, everyone has time now, everyone's working from home. So lahat ng mga matatalino ding usually may office or walang time para makipag-ayos sa Twitter, may time sila ngayon,
And it
parts.
goes back to what Twitter was when it started. You remember when you first got on
I
Twitter?
know.
Parang ganun, diba? When it was still 140
Mm-hmm.
characters, you can't, you had to fit it all in that. You had to make sure it was so hard hitting and so good. It went back to that, and I love how Twitter is going right now. I hope it continues. I thank you guys for always tweeting us and letting us know whenever you're listening to SOS or even just responding to some of the stupid stuff that we discuss online. I am so happy with how Twitter is going.
Yes, and last night it was booming. Twitter
Oh
business yesterday was
yeah.
booming. So I wanted to bring this into the topic of catfishing and online dating in this time of coronavirus.
Yes.
Everyone is stuck at home. And so I think the more important conversation here really is, how do you keep these things from happening again? Online dating safely without having to go through the painful process of being duped and being catfished. Now, for those people who don't know what catfishing is, because this is a term that I didn't understand
Really?
and know for the longest time. Yeah. And not hindi naman hanggang ngayon, but I
Ah.
mean, like, I only found out about it years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
When a friend of mine went through the same thing.
Uh huh.
She was also catfished through one of the dating apps. And that's precisely why pala dating apps like Bumble have started to put yung mga verification,
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted for catfishing to stop, because apparently it's so prevalent, especially in the States. Like,
Yeah.
in other countries, it's so much easier to steal people's photos.
I'm telling you right now, I have been a victim of this. I'm not saying that anything happened or anything like that, but whenever I would try to verify if somebody is that person, conversation ends. Like, and I guess I don't know. I I don't know if people might be getting. I don't know. Okay, if it were you. Okay, if it were you, let's say me and you matched. You're not verified, and I asked you, "Hey, can you verify first?"
I mean, if you're a normal person, you'd say yes, right? Like, it wouldn't be an issue.
Is
Parang
it,
why would
is it something that might make you mad though? It's like, what, you don't trust me? Because I've had that. I've had it where
no?
girls would be like, if you don't want to trust me, if you can't trust that that's me and blah 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 blah, then forget it. And I'm like, okay, bye bye.
Yeah. Okay, so for those who don't know, catfishing really is pretending to be somebody that you're not, to lure somebody else, the person that you're attracted to, and kind of form a relationship on the basis that you're somebody else. So I'm
Yes.
pretending to be somebody hotter, or whatever,
Uh-huh.
right? Whatever
Yeah,
that
whatever it is.
stature you're
Yeah.
going into. And I think if you are a modern person, if you're a single person that is going through online dating right now, what you're saying, Aaron, it's totally fine for somebody if you're a normal human being and wala kang hang up sa life mo.
Mm.
When somebody tells me to verify my account, I'd be like, gladly. I'm sorry it took me a while, but sure, let me verify it for you, just so you and I both have that comfortable feeling of security, wherein
Yes.
you don't feel like I'm taking advantage of you, and I don't feel like you're taking advantage of me. It's just the level playing ground.
Because the one thing that I don't know, but I've had conversations with people that weren't verified, and I think that they were trying to say that they were trying to put across that if you like me for my personality, the whole love is blind thing. If you like me for my personality, it's the way I look or my gender or whatever part of community I am, it should not bother you.
I don't think that's even like the problem, you know? Parang I think more than anything, verification, it's not really about the superficial, am I attracted to you level. I think it's more of security. It's not superficiality wherein if you were a different face, would I still like you? Probably, right? So, but it's not that, that's not the conversation we're having. The conversation we're having is it really you I'm talking to? Because if this person is not you, then that in itself is a problem already,
Yes, and
right?
that is exactly where I completely agree. Because I mean, anything on top can easily fall if the foundation of who you are presenting, like, because I mean, if you are lying, if let's for say that you said each and everything about your personality, and it was fantastic, and it was absolutely amazing, and you guys connected with that, but the start of it all, with saying who you are, even if it was to the point of what your name was, and you lied about that, the basic information of that will bring everything down. Because with
Yeah,
if you could lie about that, you can lie about anything. And that's my
that's right.
concern
That's
whenever
right.
it comes to online dating.
And so we wanted to talk about a bit like how do you stay safe
Ah,
during these times where
how would
you're
you do it?
actually stuck at home.
How would you
And
do it?
I mean, honestly, my first go-to always is video call. Like when I was single,
Uh-huh.
parang if I were going to online date somebody, I think the safest way to go is really to video call. If you're texting after 2 or 3 days, there's no reason to say I can't do a video call right now, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not hassle anymore. It's not expensive. It's not hassle. Definitely the person that you're talking to probably owns a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I mean,
that's
to be
one
able
of
to
the
be
first
on
things.
Bumble or Tinder, you have to have a
Hmm.
smartphone anyway.
Exactly. So that's the first one. The second one is, and there was actually a research about this. I forgot which university, but apparently now companies don't really focus so much on your CV or your curriculum vitae. They usually see your socials. And so if a person has a more, uh, I guess, a more solid social media network, if they have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, meron silang YouTube, whatever it is, they're counted as normal, quote unquote. Mas normal sila. And people actually, the companies would look at their social media accounts more than the CV because social media is parang a representation of your personality. So I have met people before that didn't have Facebook, pero laging may Instagram. There's always that one
Mm-hmm.
social media account because like I've met pretty hipster people in my life, and they're like social media is not for me, but they have one like meron silang Instagram or meron silang isang Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I think just seeing like their network, do they have network interactions with family or friends online? That for me is kind of like an assurance na hey, this is an actual person who is an actual part of a society.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
Yes,
sense?
I completely agree. And I think that people might hear that and be like, ano ba naman yan? Ang dami masyadong trabaho. It's already online dating. Put in some work. Like, try and figure out
Yeah.
if that person is real. If you really, really like that person, if you're enjoying your conversation, at least that's the way that I look at it. Whenever I enjoy my conversation, I'm the same way. Let's have a little bit of a phone call. Let's have a video call and have a
Yeah.
conversation that way. Because there's nothing more. There's nothing more attractive than trust.
That's
And when
true.
it comes to online dating in this certain era of dating that we're in right now, if the way that you can build trust is really showing who you are, not just inside but out, I think that that will
Mhm.
be some kind of connection that you might not have been able to have before this.
Yeah, and you know, you were talking about it earlier. What if the person that you're dating or you're interested in gets offended by you asking them to verify who they are? The one thing that you have to remember now that online dating is so popular, and it's probably the thing that you'll have to do because we're all quarantined and because of the pandemic, your protection and your safety is more important than the comfort of another stranger. And like that's the one thing, right? That's the one thing that you have to remember. This is how people are taken advantage of. If you don't first put your safety and your protection before the comfort of a stranger, that's simple logic. It really is simple logic, but I know that it's easy to forego simple logic when you're attracted to someone and when you're emotionally attached to someone. So even before you go into that space of being attracted to someone and being emotionally attached to them, make sure already that the trust is built, because as Aaron mentioned, trust is really the most foundational thing.
I completely agree. If you're just in it to be able to talk to somebody and risk, being hurt so much more down the road, like we saw in that thread, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Um,
Mhm.
I there are times where I feel so massively lonely and I want to be able to talk to someone, but somebody comes along and I'm like, ah, you're not verified, or like I don't have any, like you're not, because the thing that's also good with Bumble that I like is that you can link your Spotify account and you can link your Instagram account. So if you're going
Mm.
through it and the person is not verified, but it's connected to their Instagram account, and you can see that, okay, this person has been, alive for a very long time, like you were saying, that has a social networking footprint. Or you can see the
Yeah.
different artists that they've listened to. You can feel that the person is human and not just an
Mhm.
avatar. Then I think that
Yeah.
you can trust that.
Yeah, that's right. And these are just precautionary measures that I think everyone should be doing, even if it's not dating.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you are making purchases from Facebook Marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
for example, right? Or if you're buying from a shop, make sure that you verify first before giving any of your details. Make sure that you really have to start protecting yourself better, because digital life now is also real life. I think a lot of people still get into trouble and still get hurt because they feel like whatever they do in the digital space is super detached from their real life, and that's not the case
Not
anymore. Maybe
anymore.
5 years ago you could probably do something in the digital space and not have it affect your personal life, but now everything is so intertwined that if you don't protect yourself, somebody will take advantage, whether that's a lover, somebody, a stranger, a shop. A lot of people have experienced this already, so we must learn from their mistakes.
Yes, and this is the new world that we live in. And this is why we're doing this podcast. Because we all need to figure it out together. I swear,
Hmm.
we don't have the answers. We just have questions that we will all try to answer together.
And I think more than anything, what we should be rallying for really is the protection and
Yes.
really of people in general,
Yes.
like whatever
Absolutely.
background you come from. It's really protection for our communities. It's really making sure that we're well informed, that we're educating, we're encouraging one another instead of focusing on, like, because the predators will always be there.
And
That's the kind of world that we live in. Go
and
ahead,
and
Mars.
that's why I make it a point, and whenever I start dating someone, I immediately tell Joyce, because if I get kidnapped or I get killed, Joyce knows who it's going to be. She needs to know at all times.
Yes, and between Aaron Atida and some random stranger, it's always Aaron Atida that's gonna be taken advantage of.
Yes,
I'm sure of it.
always. To take my
Always,
car, take my
yes,
house.
on some level. If not that bad parts, it's always your emotions that they take advantage of. I don't get it. I really honestly don't. I have never met anyone as incredible, as smart, as loving, as funny as Aaron Atida, and still people don't get it. I don't. It's baffling to me.
You know what?
It
I
really
I
is.
think somebody. I think there's somebody that is talking to each and every girl that I've ever dated and told that they're all in like a. They're all in a Telegram group. Tapos bigla may i-add, okay, okay, mag-backread ka. Ito yung ginawa ni Aaron. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
But I doubt they have any bad receipts towards you, parts. I
Oh,
really, really doubt it.
I bet you somebody is somewhere, and that's it. But either way, I will be fine. We will all be fine. Just make sure that you take
Hmm.
care of everyone out there. Tell everyone who you're, at least let one person know where you are if you're about to go on a date and you want to make sure that you're not catfished or anything like that. Just make sure
Oh
people are
my,
informed.
That's actually a really good reminder also, parts. If you are, I think it might sound braning right now, but if I were single, well, when I was single and I was going on a first date with someone that I don't know, this person is a complete stranger that I just met off the internet, it would probably be the safest to meet in a public place with someone there,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah. May
ask you,
chaperone,
have
ganyan, di ba?
oh, dapat may chaperone ka. Parang yung kapatid ko, my brother was like a huge chaperone for me for the longest time. So if I wanted to go, if somebody's asking me out on a date and I met this person through a friend lang and I'm not sure if this person is safe or not, I go to a public place. We watch a movie together. We eat in a restaurant. Like, don't go, because it has happened also to some of my friends na they go to hotel rooms to party there,
What?
tapos mag-isa lang silang babae. Hindi kasi, sometimes, what? Has this not happened to you? We're in, you meet someone you've been messaging, you know, quote unquote, each other for months already, and then they invite you out to hang out for the first time, and it just happened to be a house party or a hotel room party. And so they go into that hotel room or house party, you hang out, right? And you're not, it's not safe. Like, a lot of people get drunk, diba?
Yeah.
And they're not protected. So if you're a girl, sadly, these are the kinds of extra precautionary measures that you have to take. I'm not saying that men are horrible. They
Men
are
are
not. They are amazing
men
human
are
beings.
horrible.
They can
They
be, but
can
they
be.
have the
Yeah.
capacity to. Both men and women
Yeah.
have the capacity to be horrible human beings and to hurt other people. And so, ikaw, yung responsibility mo really is just be smarter than them. Like,
Yes. Yes.
don't care if it offends them. If they like you talaga, they won't be offended. Right? Why would you be offended? If
Exactly.
they like you enough, they're your friend, they'd understand.
And I think that to tie it all back, to close it all out, I think that needs to be what we will wrap up this whole catfishing thing about. If you want verification and they like you enough, then they should not feel bad that you asked it. And I think that goes even further into relationships. If there are things in your relationship that you need to discuss, if for instance you, especially now, you think that you need to talk to your partner who you're living with during this entire quarantine, that they need to step out whenever they fart because they haven't been doing it and it's getting a little to going all over your head, or they're eating and their mouth is wide open and it's driving you insane, talk. If you
Mm-hmm.
mean that much to them, they will listen. If not,
Yeah. If you're
don't.
in a relationship that you feel like you need to walk on eggshells to make them stay, that's a toxic relationship, right? If it's a healthy relationship, you're able to talk to this person and tell them the things that, not just the things that you like about them, but the things that you're not so attracted to them about, and they'd still take it with a grain of salt, because that's what normal loving human beings do. And so if you feel like you're in a relationship that where you feel like, I need to go around the bushes and I need to do things a certain way to make sure that he or she stays, then that's a telltale sign that you probably shouldn't be staying in that relationship.
Pretty much. And to, again, one last bow. Um, okay yung labada ko kahapon.
Oh, talaga?
Oh, oh.
Hindi mabaho,
There,
parts?
mabango. And I finished the rest of my batch today. Huh? Domesticated na.
Congratulations.
Hindi nga
Oh
na,
my
hindi na ako
gosh.
magluluto para sa'yo. Girl, kung nanonood ka, o kaya nakikinig ka, hindi lang kita lulutuan ng dinner. Maglalaba pa ako.
Oh, salbakuta levels. Pati bra at panty mo, ako ang naglalaba. Aaron at Heide, wife that, husband that dude.
Yes, I would love to be a stay-at-home wife. Make this happen.
At least, diba? At least you got this going for you, parts. You got your shot of sanity for today.
And so did you.
And so did I. So
I
I
love how
think
you're
we're good
like,
for today.
your face is like, yeah, this totally helped me.
It's been a tough day. It's just one of those days. And this is the okay, I need to come clean. This is
Yeah.
the reason why I love doing Shot of Sanity, because today I woke up and my depression was really bad.
I really wanted to talk to you about that. I really did, because it hit me really hard. yesterday and earlier this morning, and I think that that would be a fantastic conversation to have tomorrow, and we can talk about our depression because mental illness is such a big part of this quarantine that nobody is talking about.
Yeah, definitely. And so I think that's precisely why we're creating content like this. So hopefully you guys will tune in tomorrow to talk more about our mental health, how we can take care of it, how we can, use this community of Shot of Sanity to really just process through our emotions and the things that we're going through in this unprecedented season and time in history where we're all stuck at home, fearing for our lives and cheering on for our frontliners. But for now, that's it for the show.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Please make sure that you hit us up online on Instagram, on Twitter, any which way you want to. Share that you're listening. We love it each and every time that you guys are sharing that you're listening. It really is such a shot of happiness that I could not compare to any other way in this world right now.
And that's it for this episode. If you'd like to continue the conversation, go to www.joycepring.com. And if you want to support the podcast, go to patreon.com/adultingwithjoycepring. I'll talk to you guys soon. Paalam!